Welcome back to Almost Home Yoga. I want to start with the basics. And why almost home? Well, think about home. Maybe it is where you feel like you're the best version of yourself, if that's only even for a moment. Maybe home is really associated with a physical place, but I bet if you stop to think about that, it might be more about the people who made you feel safe or even, unfortunately, unsafe. So this life is a journey. And as Kate Buller says, there's no cure for being human. And I'd like to remind you that we're always almost home. So, first thing I want to say is if you have challenges that make it hard for you to get up and down off the floor and you don't know how to already modify using a chair or other props, or if you have some other physical challenge that makes yoga flow from standing up to the floor hard, reach out to me and we can spend a few minutes either in person if you're here in Roswell, Georgia, or on Zoom, and I can help you find some ways to modify movements. But this is going to be a pretty steady 35 to 40 minute practice. Before you get settled, I'm going to suggest a playlist that you could accompany your practice with. It's the Avett Brothers' new album, came out, 10 days ago or so. And so if you start that playlist after I finish reading a poem I'm going to read, then it should land with a great song for your Shavasana. So pause, grab your device if you want, or not. I'm also going to read the lyrics to that song. So the poem comes from Poetry Unbound, their series, Poems as Teachers. And you might find this initially a little depressing. It's about community. Our word for the week is community, but really what I hope is rather than seeing your community in some of these statistics, you might see yourself and think about the ways that you can change, and also the ways that you are already worthy just the way you are. Okay, so it's by a Polish poet. I'm not even going to try to say her name. You can go to Poetry Unbound and find the episode. It's episode 1. It's translated into English, of course. I invite you to lay down on your back, however that's comfortable for you, fully stretched out, feet flat on the floor, and just listen to this, a word on statistics. Out of every 100 people, those who always know better, 52. Unsure of every step, nearly all the rest. Ready to help, as long as it doesn't take long, 49. Always good, because they cannot be otherwise, 4, well, maybe 5. Able to admire without envy, 18. Led to error by youth, which passes, 60 plus or minus. Those not to be messed with, 40 and 4. Living in constant fear of someone or something, 77. Capable of happiness, 20 some odd at most. Harmless alone, turning savage in crowds, more than half for sure. Cruel when forced by circumstances, it's better not to know, not even approximately. Wise in hindsight, not many more than wise in foresight. Getting nothing out of life but things, 30. Although I'd like to be wrong. Doubled over in pain without a flashlight in the dark, 83 sooner or later. Those who are just, quite a few at 35, but if it takes effort to understand, 3. Worthy of empathy, 99. Mortal, 100 out of 100, a figure that has never varied yet. So again, I find this rather hopeful in that we can recognize our ability to change. So as you stay on your back and get comfortable, maybe getting a little motion going, whether it's taking your knees side to side or drawing your knees into your chest or doing a big stretch, arms overhead. Here are some ideas about setting your intentions. So something might have jumped out at you in the poem, or perhaps it's about balance. Knowing when you need to be helped and knowing when to help out. whether or not circumstances, in all circumstances, you can be kind. Really what it boils down to is loving kindness, right? Practicing kindness when things are going well, compassion when they are not, gratitude when people do the right thing, and empathy when they don't. So there's lots of fuel for you to set your intention. Take a moment to connect to your breath. Maybe tuck your shoulder blades together. If your knees aren't already bent, go ahead and bend them. Just feel yourself grounded underneath you. And then when you're ready, gently draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. So we're going to do a little softening and then opening up. And again, make sure you're your own best teacher. There's no pain in your low back, right? So as you inhale, maybe open up, plant your feet on the ground, take your arms overhead. Maybe let the backs of your palms touch the floor behind you. And then exhale, draw yourself in again. This is like a little cat-cow. Inhaling, plant your feet, take your arms overhead, lengthen the back of your neck, and exhale, draw your knees in. More of a cat shape would be lifting your head, looking at your toes if that's available to you. One more time. Inhaling, plant your feet, take your arms overhead. Exhaling, draw your knees into your chest. Maybe look at your toes. And then lay your head and shoulders back down and take your heels to the ceiling, checking in with your hamstrings. So what you want to be sure you do is keep your feet right over your hips. When you start to lower your legs, that's going to tax your low back unless your low belly is really strong. So bend your knees as much as you need to keep your feet right over your hips. That's our neutral position. If your low back is really challenged, you could tuck your palms facing down underneath your pelvis. So find your modification, and then on an inhale, lower your left leg. And exhale, draw it back up. Inhale, lower your right leg. Did it feel different than the first side? Find the balance. Exhale it back up. Maybe you stay safe, but inhaling, lower both legs as much as you can. Right. Shoulders soft, head relaxed, exhaling back up. We'll do that series one more time. Inhaling, lower one leg. Exhaling back up. Inhale, lower the other leg. Exhale, back up. Slowly and gently inhale both legs. Exhale. Inhale, drop both legs. And exhale, back up. One more time. Inhaling, lower. Exhaling in. Inhale, lower the other leg. Exhale, up. Inhale, lower both legs. Use that belly. And exhale, back up. And draw your knees into your chest again. So maybe taking a moment to kind of stretch and crunch the hips flexor. It's good for our digestion too. So squeeze the right knee into the chest. Inhale, lower the left leg where it's safe. Maybe take a pendulum swing with that left leg, side to side. Feel that hip flexor. Pause there for one more inhale. Maybe flex those feet strongly. Pull that right knee into the shoulder. And exhale. Knees back together, and just notice the difference from one side to the other. Keep the back of the neck long, and inhale, do the other leg. So pull the left knee into the shoulder, stretch the right leg out where it's safe, and maybe do a little pendulum swing like a clock with the extended leg. Feet strongly flexed, inhale. And then exhale, knees back into the chest. Lengthen the back of the neck again, and then slowly plant the feet. Right, so we spread those toes, push into the big toe mound, especially tuck your shoulder blades together again, and inhale. That's our first bridge. Doesn't have to be a big one. Exhaling, lower. You can maybe add your arms to this. Inhaling, lift the hips. Take the arms overhead, touch the palms, the back of the palms, and exhale down. So this one we're going to hold. Inhale, arms up. You can leave your arms there. You can do cactus arms, feeling a different opening in the shoulders. And just maybe
take your hips shifting left and right. Small, gentle. One more breath. Inhale deeply. Maybe lift a little higher. And exhale down. And pause. Then we're going to roll safely to one side. Come to all fours. We'll continue to do some cat-cow motions, checking with our spine. So inhaling, stretch the left leg out behind you, keep the foot flexed. And exhale, knee into the chest. So I think part of what makes us capable of change, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, is having a strong core. Maybe you want to take your right thumb out, so the classic bird dog, you could stay there, or you could exhale, knee into the elbow, dropping the head, howling out. Do that again 2 more times, whatever's right for you. If you're wobbly and having trouble balancing, gaze down at your thumb that's on the ground for some more stability. And then go ahead and plant yourself on all fours again. Kind of feel the heat building maybe in that left side. And then I'm gonna invite you to do something maybe a little bit different. Instead of going back and front, go side to side. So inhale, take that left leg straight out. See if you get it parallel to the ground. Don't flop over to the right too much, trying to keep your upper arms drawing together. And then exhale, knee in. You could do that again. Maybe you want to take your right arm out to the side, inhaling. Again, you could use your gaze. Draw it in again. One more time. Inhale. Draw it in again. And come back to all fours. So now we have to even ourselves out, right? So inhale, take the right leg out. Flex the foot, toes pointing down. Exhale, knee to the nose. So if you want to challenge yourself a little more, maybe leg and left arm out. Knee into elbow. One more time. And again. Stick with your intention. And come back to all fours. I was turning sideways for the last out to the side part because I didn't have room because of the wall. Right. So inhaling would be the right leg out. All right, so we try not to flop over to the right, keep our upper arms drawing together, and exhale, knee in. So then maybe you want to try the arm, forces you to stay centered, and exhale in. One more time. Nice. Exhale in, stick with your breath. Come to all fours, and take a child's pose. And maybe this is all about finding balance for you. Knowing when to let go, when to hold on. Maybe you'd like to stay here in child's pose. Maybe you'd like to practice that in a movement. Inhaling, finding some, so taking your arms way far forward, finding some gentle kind of up dog back bend. And exhaling back to child's pose. Or just stay in child's pose for 2 more breaths. Very good. Inhale, gentle back bend. Exhale, child's pose. So one more time, inhaling. Be very small. And exhale, child's pose. Child's pose with your hips towards your heels feels good for you. Stay there. If not, come back up onto your knees, hips over the knees. Do a little side stretch here. We're going to walk our hands over to the left. And exhale, wherever you are, pull your right hip back. So again, you could just stay in your child's pose. Do the same thing. Or somewhere in between. Whatever feels right for you. Couple breaths here. And then when you're ready to come through center, go to the second side. Two more breaths. And walk your hands forward. We're gonna find our first downward facing dog. So if I get my shoulders right over my wrists and my spine is nice and long from the tailbone out through the crown of the head, and curl my toes under, I should be shoulders over the wrists in a plank position. And then lift your hips up and back. The goal is to get the hinge out of the arms and shoulders so that the rib cage and the arms and the wrists are all in one long line. You bend your knees as much as you need to get that done. And take a few breaths here. Stay here. Or another way to build a little strength for the journey would be to take your left arm to somewhere on the right leg, the thigh, or the shin, or maybe the ankle. Take 2 breaths there. You can feel those obliques, those core muscles. Come back to down dog. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Maybe sigh it out the mouth. Then when you're ready to go to the second side, just notice the difference from one side to the other. Then come on out of that. Look at your thumbs. Soften your knees and walk your feet in to meet your hands. Inhale. Fingertips under the knees, half forward fold. Draw those shoulder blades together. Crown of the head out long. Exhale. Let your head drop below your heart if it's safe. And then inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale your hands to your heart. Take a moment to just be grateful for this body that you're in and the way that it carries you. So the next thing we're going to do is 2 sets of sun salutations. The first one, classical modified with some twist, and the second one, some warrior poses. So inhale, you might want to have a block handy. Take your arms up overhead. Exhale, soften your knees and fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. This is where the block might help. Exhale, take that left leg way, way back behind you. So when you float the knee down, your right knee is still over your ankle. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Low crescent lunge. And exhale, bring your left hand to the mat. Lengthen that spine, or you can have it on the block. All right, you're going to pull your low belly in, pull your right thigh toward the midline, and inhale, take a twist. Right arm up in the air, maybe make a couple of big circles with that arm if it feels good. Opening up. And exhale. Come back to that low crescent lunge and find cactus arms. So another way of opening up or holding on, right? Closing in and letting go. Exhale, just a hollowing out of the upper body, elbows come together. And inhale, open up. Palms forward, take your arms way up in like a V for victory. And then exhale, hands to the mat. All right, you got that long spine again. You could be on your toes if you're feeling real strong. Draw your elbows in. And maybe you need your knees to carry you a little bit. Chest and chin to the mat. Drop the hips. This round we're going to do 3 easy cobras. Push the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhaling. Gaze at the front edge of your mat. Elbows in. Exhale down. Inhaling again. And exhale down. One more time. Inhale. Nice. And exhaling down. Reverse that push-up, however is right for you. All right, find downward facing dog. Take a breath. Deep inhale. Maybe sigh it out the mouth. Then however you need to get that right foot forward again so that we're in the same low lunge. All right, maybe you want to take the leg up in the air, pull the knee into the chest, plant the foot. You could do this in high lunge too. Just get back to that low lunge where we were, however you need. Bring your hands to your heart and you're going to twist toward that right side. You keep your hand on your knee, your shoulders over your hips. Twist that way. Or some version, maybe bringing your elbows together, palms together. Or if it's in your practice, you could open up. It's all about the spine though. One more breath. Exhaling, release. Pull your back toes under. Inhale all the way to half forward fold. Exhale, hang if it's safe. Reverse your dive, arms over the air. And exhale your hands to your heart. And continue. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, fold, second side. Inhale, half forward fold, nice and long and strong. And exhale, now the right leg goes way back in high lunge. Float that knee down. Have your block if it's helpful. And inhale, crescent lunge. And then exhale, hand to the mat for the block. Draw that left thigh toward the midline and inhale. Maybe make a couple circles with the arm. The person next to you is on their toes or doing some crazy bind. It's a good time to cultivate appreciation without envy. Exhale, release that. Inhaling, find your top of the push-up plank. Exhale, chest and chin to the mat. This time, we're going to do a locust pose or some modification. So squeeze your inner thighs together, raise your heels. You can keep your hands under your shoulders. You can reach your fingertips towards your ankles. So stay here nice and long. I'm going to invite you to look left. Nothing changes but your gaze. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, look right. What feels different? What moved? Exhaling, back to center. Stay here, inhale, get a little longer. Then exhale, chin to the chest, nothing else moved. How does that feel on your head, neck, shoulders? And then inhale. As you lengthen to gaze forward again, try and keep the back of the neck really long. And then release your legs, exhaling, hands under the shoulders. Once again, reversing your push-up. And then finding downward facing dog. Keep those knees a little bit bent. Give your low back a time to neutralize before you straighten your legs. Inhale deeply. Exhale it out. Then you're going to find your way, left leg forward. Again, high lunge or low lunge, you decide. Inhaling, arms up. And then exhaling, find your twist. Maybe it's right here, shoulders over the hips. Maybe it's elbowed, palms together. Maybe you open up, but only if it gives you more rotation in your spine. One more deep breath. Gently release. Curl your toes under. Inhaling all the way to half forward fold. Exhaling, hang. You probably are one of the 4 or 5 that can't help but be good. Inhaling, take your arms up overhead. And if you are, please know that I appreciate you. Exhale your hands to your heart. Take a breath. Maybe sometimes it's just a balance of seeing reality how it really is. Right? And, trying to live the best version of ourselves. So speaking of balance, we're going to do a couple of them. First, tree pose. And then we'll get to those warriors. So I'm doing my left leg first. Go to the wall or chair, practice safely. Just don't put any weight on the knee. Pushing and don't push into that standing knee. So foot above it or below it. And maybe you want to grow your tree. Come back to your breath. And exhaling, gently release. Do the same thing on the other side. Beautiful. And exhale, gently release. Okay. We're gonna do yoga flow with some warriors. So inhaling, take your arms up overhead. Exhaling, slowly and gently fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhaling, we're taking your left leg way back for warrior two, so heel to arch alignment. Right? Couple breaths here. Whole front body is in line with the long edge of your mat, right? So you're turning those hips to the long edge of the mat, even as you take the knee to the back side, right? One more breath. Then lengthen and extend yourself into side angle. Some version of that for you. On your inhale, come back for warrior two, straightening the front leg, and find reverse triangle with your right fingertips up in the air. Or whichever fingertips are there. If you're mirroring me, it'll be the opposite. Gently, safely windmill yourself back to the front of the mat. That means adjusting your front foot out to the side for a stable base. Right? Inhaling, come to the top of your push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga down. Inhaling, cobra, or maybe you're ready for some kind of an up dog, modified or not. Excuse me, exhaling, downward facing dog. And I invite you to baby step, one big step, or hop yourself to half forward fold. And exhale, sit down in an imaginary chair, bring your hands to your heart. Our last one-legged balance is going to be warrior three. So have a chair or a block if it's helpful. Shift all your body weight into your right leg. Or if you're mirroring me, the opposite side, right? And extend that back leg out behind you. You might want to straighten your front leg or not. I mean, you're standing leg, hips. Try to stay level to the mat. Right. You do something else with your arms. Take one more breath. Come out of it the way we got into it, so a little chair pose. Sweep your arms up and find Tadasana. And exhale your hands to your heart. Okay. Turn ourselves back around. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, gently fold. Inhale, half forward fold. You don't have to turn yourself around if your mat was perpendicular to mine. You're just taking the right leg way back in high lunge. You'll still be able to see me. Turn the heel down and in for warrior two. Got your hips turned as best you can. Tricep muscles squeezing onto the arm bones, fingers spread wide. Then find your extended side angle. Return to that intention that you set. And come back through your warrior two, straighten that front leg, drop the back hand of the thigh, draw a line at the ceiling, just get nice and long, open on your side body, tailbone still dropping down. And then we'll finish our flow. Windmill yourself around, adjust your feet safely. Top of the push-up plank. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, back extension, heart open. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Take a big breath. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. So again, opportunity to hop, or baby step, or one big step. Front of the mat. Right. Inhale, half forward fold, and exhale, find a chair pose. All right, weight in the heels, bring your hands to your heart center, and we're gonna set up for our warrior three. Find your balance. Shift the weight into the second side. Shoot that heel behind you, toes pointing down, hips level, back of the neck long. Do something different with your arms if you like. Use your drishti. Come back to your breath. Let's practice. We can recover. Thank the universe. We can recover. And exhale. Find your chair pose. Sweep your arms up. Find Tadasana. And exhale your hands to your heart. Nice. So one goddess pose, so I'm going to invite you to check in with your inner thighs. Right. Might want to have a block. We turn our toes out, our heels are kind of wider than our shoulders, and we're dropping our knees right over the middle of our feet. All right, you can maybe shift your weight from side to side a little bit. You can just stay here and explore. Or you can adjust your feet a little bit wider. Toes pointing more forward, and shift from side to side. You might want to shift to one side and take the opposite toes to the ceiling as best you can. Hold your block, drop your hips, bring your hands to your heart. Again, mostly about core strength. Safely transition through center. Maybe while you're in the center, you want to take a deep straddle forward fold. Or if you have an inversion in your practice, you could try that here. Wherever you are, find your second side, inner thigh stretch, groin, using your core. Notice the balance from one side to the other. And come on out of it. Find your way safely to the mat. Become seated. Do a little bit of, again, inner thigh and hip openers. So, Baddha Konasana, bound angle. You can keep your heels further away from your hips or closer in. You could sit on a block if it's helpful. The goal is not to round under on your sacrum. You want to be right up on those sitting bones. Exhaling. Take your chest forward. Maybe it's 1/4 of an inch. So we start with a long spine. Crown of the head reaching out. Back of the neck long. Relax your elbows, shoulders dropping down. Work on relieving some tension in the low back, the inner thighs. Brow soft, maybe close your eyes. Stay here for 2 more deep breaths. Now, if it's okay on your knees, you're not feeling any pain anywhere, you could maybe hold on to the feet with one hand, both feet, take the opposite hand to the knee, and open up your chest. Feel that side, front, heart opener, shoulders soft, maybe gazing upward. All about finding more space. So if you're doing that, come back to neutral. We'll try the second side. When you think about your community, where can you make more space for one another? Where you need to find your own space. If your gaze happens to be upward or not, remembering that it may require something bigger than ourselves to stay in community. Good. Come on back to neutral. Stay on your block if it's better for your legs. We're going to get into the back legs a little bit. You can keep your knees a little bit bent, or you can stretch them out. Try and draw your toes back if you had a strap or an old necktie. You do that. So the same thing, we start right with our back nice and straight. Back of the neck nice and long. Maybe you want to find the opposite leg somewhere and gently twist to one side, getting into that IT band. Gently release that, safely bring your shoulders back over your hips. We are going to take ourselves back down to the mat for a lying down pigeon pose. Remembering that they say our hips are like our emotional junk drawer. Clean it out. So I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right thigh and then grab the back of that right thigh and draw the ankle toward my shoulder. And the thing here with your knees is to keep the foot toes flexed back towards the shin. Keeps the alignment safe. Relax your shoulders, lengthen the back of your neck, relax your jaw, take 3 deep breaths. So with an exhale, maybe you find a new edge, you can go a little deeper or not. Gently release, do whatever you want to kind of prepare yourself for the other side. Maybe it's turning your knees in, out. When you're ready, find the second side. Three deep breaths. Again, releasing and finding your Shavasana. Hopefully with the legs stretched out if it's safe. If not, keep them bent, or you could put them up on a chair or take legs up the wall. Nothing to do till you hear my voice again. So when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and your toes. So as you find your way to get moving again, I'm going to read the lyrics to the Avett Brothers song. Take your time. The title is We Are Loved. Whether we speak up or we are silent, if we are willing or we are done, if we are courageous or we are cowards, we may be burdened, but we are loved. Whether we stay true and do for another, if we are hidden or we're discovered, if we're forgiven or we're forgotten, we may be lonely, but we are loved. If you are standing or cannot stop moving, whether you're haunted or cannot remember, over the gravestone under the rainbow, pain comes and pain goes, and we are loved. Every stitch and seam, every wish and dream, even in tragedy, there lies divinity. Even as hope seems lost, it may be found again. I have felt alone, but I have never been. If we are spirit or we are human, crossing the river or harboring change, if we deny it or we face it, may we embrace it. We are loved. So if you haven't already, find your way to seated, close your eyes and bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale deeply. Thank you for being part of the Almost Home Yoga community. If only through this video. Reach out, almosthomeyoga.com. If you have any questions. Once again, close your eyes, bow your head to your heart. Give yourself that mental pat in the back for showing up and being your best self. And then take it out into the world. The Spirit meows the Spirit in each of you. Namaste. Again, credits. Poetry Unbound, episode 1 of Poems as Teachers, and the Avett Brothers song We Are Loved. Be well.